Hello and welcome to the All Rookie Podcast. Today is June 23rd, 2024. I'm your host, William Harris, aka William is Bill. Back to one of my most popular episodes. I had to bring out for you guys my top 15 international prospects in the 2024 NBA draft. People seem to like this pod every year that I do it. I know I have a lot of people internationally listening right now, so I appreciate you guys. And this is for you. Let me know if I'm totally off on some of these guys, but here's my top 15 international prospects in the 2024 NBA draft. Starting with number one, we all know one of the top two picks in this draft. More than likely, you never know what will happen, but Alex Sarr, uh, rumored to go number one for a long time, but when the draft week comes about, a lot of times there's rumors, oh, he could fall to second or third. We will see. He's my second ranked player. But Alex Sarr, the 7'1 big man from France, 19-year-old center, averaged 10 points, 4.5 boards, 1 assist, 1.5 blocks per game, and that was only in 18 minutes per game. So you have to remember sometimes you look at centers and you're like, they only block 1.5 shots. Chet blocked 3 or 4 a game. So that doesn't look good. But a lot of these guys are not playing big minutes, 18 minutes per game. And internationally, one thing that if you do not know that much about the international game, the younger players do not get treated like the American young players. The young American stars get all the minutes they want. But when you're international, you're 18, 19, 20, you're not starting, you're not playing a ton of heavy minutes. They're playing their veterans. The veterans know how to win. The youngsters are learning how to win. Even though they may be a little bit more talented, they're going to make more mistakes. So they get on the bench, yada, yada, yada. But that's just a header for you guys because a lot of these guys are not playing tons of minutes. But Alex Sarr has touch on his shot, nice turnaround jump shot, can put the ball on the floor a little bit and get his own shot. This is at 7'1". So, he shoots the ball with confidence. He can put his head down and get to the rim. He should be a nice piece for any team, good or bad. Some players he'll be good on a good team. He'll be good on a bad team. I truly think Sarr will be good on either or. He's a good cutter, very athletic and fluid. He's not just a rim runner like some of the centers are, in this league that can't do anything offensively, obviously. Just run down, catch lobs, rebounds. He's more than that. So that's always a positive. He can and will get stronger. That's going to help him in the NBA. First year, he may be, knocked around a little bit, but his future is bright. And, there's a trend of skinnier centers in the league. I believe Alex Sarr is definitely worth the top pick in this class. And, I've compared him to Nick Claxton a little bit in college. Nick Claxton did a lot more in college than he's doing in the NBA, but the floor is probably what Nick Claxton is doing now. So that 7'5" wingspan on Alex Sarr should help him a lot. And he's got a family history of players in the NBA and playing professionally. His dad played pro ball in Senegal, and his brother plays now for OKC, Olivier Sarr. So I truly think Alex Sarr is the number one international prospect in this draft class. There's a lot of talk about this second guy possibly being the number one guy, but I don't think so. And that is Zachary Richache. Zachary Richache is also from France, 19 years old. We got a couple guys on this list from France. France is truly, truly killing it right now. But 19 years old, 11 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, and 1 steal per game. Shot 48% from the field, 43% from three. That's what's moving him up the list so much. There's guys like Matas Buzelis, who technically is international, but he played for the G League, so I'm not counting guys that played in America because this list will be a little bit longer. Like you have Pelle Larsson. He played in college in America, even though he's from Sweden. So I'm only picking players on this international prospect list that played internationally. That's just getting that out there. But yeah, Zachary Richache, that 3-point percentage, the height, the size is truly intriguing for teams. And if people are thinking Alex Sarr is Nick Claxton, and they're thinking Zachary Ricochet, what if he is more? What if he is a star? He can shoot it. He's got the size. So that's why he's moving up on draft boards. He's my 9th ranked prospect. He is really talented, really good spot up shooter. Even though he's 6'9", though, he plays like a small forward to me. So the height is not really an advantage for him. But he is still a really good player. He finishes with a lot of finesse at the rim. Like I said, he plays like a shooting guard, even though he's the size of a power forward. But he always moves under control. Sometimes it can be looked at as slow or methodical, but that makes me wonder if he'll be able to access the lane in the NBA with his slower pace. We will see. And he also avoids contact in the paint. You know, that's not good for 6'9", but as a shooting guard, he'll be okay doing that. But in the NBA, they might want him to get a little bit more physical. We will see. I'm sure he will adjust. But he can hit the fadeaway. He just doesn't have a real a post game due to his lack of strength. He's not really going to create his own shot like you want a top pick to do. But he guards well. He moves well on the perimeter for his size. If he gets beat, he can still contend the shot with his long arms, wingspan. Plays the passing lanes well. But in my opinion, he's very similar to a Grady Dick type of player. So he will be a positive for a team. I don't think he will change anyone's team and take them from good to great or bad to good. I think he's just a piece. But hopefully he can reach whatever ceiling that these teams are thinking that he has to be a top 3 pick. But I think he should go from maybe the 5 to 10 range as opposed to 1 to 4. Next, Nikolai Topic, the 6'7" point guard from Serbia, 19 years old. Halfway through the season, he was averaging 16 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, 50% from the field, and 28% from 3. Great free throw shooter, and he played 31 minutes per game. I actually scouted him last year, and I didn't even realize that. But he's a very smooth guard, has a nice handle. He's not the fastest, but a very natural point guard. Um, very rare to have a very natural point guard with his size. But he does need to improve as a shooter. He gets to the paint well, finishes with nice moves. He does play smaller than he actually is also. He does not look 6'7" out there. But I love the ceiling of him. I think he'll be great with a team that has a nice center or power forward that he can dump it into because he's really good at making passes. Unselfish player, finishes well driving to either side of the rim. But I think there's promise with his shot as well. Like I said, 28% from 3. When you see a tall international point guard, you think Josh Giddey. And with bad shooting percentages, you really think Josh Giddey, but his shot is much better than Josh Giddey's shot. So there's promise in his shot, I feel, and he reminds me of an international prospect from 2 years ago that never came over here, who I had projected 30th. I cannot remember his name. I always forget his name, but he was really good. But I think Topic will be okay. But the main issue going on with him right now is he's hurt his knee. ACL for the second time, I believe. He keeps having knee and leg problems. So he'll probably miss half of the year at least. So that's going to drop him in the draft. I have him 15th overall, and that was before the injury. I think I'll still keep him in that range because you're not really drafting most of these rookies for this year. Like if you're not a top 6 or 7 pick, all these picks are not really for this year. A lot of these guys will be in the G League all year or on the bench all year. There's never more than 10 rookies that really are contributing in each draft. So if he misses half of the year, no big deal if his future is going to be bright. His medicals will have to check out, and we will see how far Nikolai Topic falls. And if he's drafted high, we know that the team's not worried about it. All right, number 4, Tajane Salon, a name that is rising and you're hearing everywhere in draft world. He's still my 20th ranked player, but he's 6'9" from France. There's France again. Averaged 9.5 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal per game, 40% from the field, 33% from three. Great free throw shooter. And that was only in 23 minutes per game. So solid stats there. And 18 years old. People love that. So when you see the age and the height and the wingspan, teams start drooling and salivating over it. I'm hearing he could go 7th or 8th. And his film did not show a player that's 7 and 8. But this draft is a little different because it's not full of guaranteed studs. So, I've said the standings for me that there's tiers in this draft 1 through 4, then 5 through 15, and then 16 through 30. So, a guy, the NBA could feel this guy may be 15 to 20, but that's not much different from 8 to 13. And they could take him there. So we will see. But he's a very aggressive forward with a great handle on his dribble, great form, great shot, super high release on his shot. It's a little unorthodox, but it works pretty well. I think it will increase with the NBA coaching. He has nice athleticism. He and a lot of these players right now internationally are on the skinnier side. He has issues backing down players and posting up. So he's more perimeter oriented. So unless he gets a little bigger, that's going to continue. And we may have another 6'9" small forward shooting guard. But I think these guys will definitely bulk up in the NBA. Their training regimen is top tier in the NBA, especially depending on the team he goes to. Gonna want to go to a team that does well in developing players. A lot of these international players will have a big learning curve coming over here, and some of them will transition seamlessly. We will see, but Tajane Salon, I believe he's not ready to go like right now and change your team and be a contributor. It may take some time, but I think eventually he could play that Michael Porter Jr. role for a team and help make a bigger lineup. You don't see too many 6'9" small forwards, but that's trending to be the thing for the NBA. So that's why people are salivating over him. That size, the shooting is good enough, the wingspan, the age, and he'll fit on just about any team. Next, another player like Tajane Salon is Pacon Dadiet. So that was he's number 5 on my list. These are in order of my rankings, but he's still ranked 27th in my opinion on my big board. But he's 6'8", 190 from France, another skinny, long wing from France. He only averaged 6 points, 2 boards, a half steal per game. Shot 47% from the field, 34% from three. And he's 18 years old, and he only played 15 minutes per game. So you really did not see a lot from Pecon Daddy yet. No one should be able to tell you what he is, honestly. He did not play enough. What he does have is a really good handle of the ball, and he has a good speed to his game, plays with a really nice pace. He has a nice turnaround jump shot, pretty good shot in general. He's definitely worth a shot in this draft in the 20s, I feel, with his age, size, shooting ability, and athleticism. And, when you hear that, you think maybe he's raw. I don't think he's raw. He's not a project, but he just hasn't played much. So he may need a year to develop before he gets an opportunity in the NBA, but the tools are there. He's a good hustle defender, can guard 1 through 4s, moves his feet well, has quick hands. And that's what the league is looking for. 6'8", 6'9", wings that can play multiple positions, defend multiple positions, very versatile wings. And Pacon Dadiet fits that. But like I said with Tajon Salon, they're similar. They both will probably need some time. Pacon may need a little bit more time than Tajon. But say you're drafting 8 where the Spurs are, and you take Tajon Salon, and then you're drafting 20th or 24th, you get Pacon Daddy, it's not that big of a drop off there. So I would not reach too much for Tajon Salon, but we will see what happens. But to Pacon Daddy, it could be moved up too by the end of the day. So we will see. Next, Ariel Hukporti. Ariel Hukporti is 6'9", 250 pounds from Germany. Played for Germany. He averaged 8 points, 7 boards, 0.6 steals, 1.5 blocks, and he's 22 years old. And he only played in 18 minutes per game as well. You see the theme there, right? So he missed a year with a ruptured Achilles. So obviously that wasn't great. But he's a dunker and a rim runner. But not only that, he has a baby hook shot, normally needs to catch in the paint and go up and get offensive rebounds and putbacks, lob threat. He has some touch, but not developed offensively to where you want him to be yet. But he's 7 foot, big man, international. He's listed a bunch of different sizes other places, but I did find out he is 7 foot. So he could take a year to develop, but I really think that Ariel Hukporti is in a good spot to be a sleeper for some teams. When I looked at his film for a second time, I saw Mark Williams. The first time, everyone was saying he was 6'9". I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. But when I looked at his film more, I said, okay, he's 7 foot. He actually plays like Mark Williams from Duke, who had a really good impact in his first season until he got injured. So I think there is, let me see what I put down for Mark Williams. They're pretty identical in size. Both are aggressive, strong finishers at the rim and run the floor very well for their size. They're tremendous in the pick and roll and still need to develop a little bit more on offense. And Mark Williams is a much better shot blocker, but Ariel Hukporti could get there. I wish Ariel was 18, 19. He is 22. So you want more of a polished, finished player. But still, he doesn't have that much longer to go. I think give him a year and he could be Mark Williams. So that's why he's my number 6 prospect, Ariel Hukporti from Germany. Next on my list, Nikolai Jurisic. He is, let me make sure. Okay, yeah. 6'8", 220 pounds. He's a good athlete, not a natural shooter, but solid at getting to the rim. Uses crafty maneuvers to get to the rim, in and outs, hesitations. He has great size, but again, he doesn't play like he is 6'8". That's a theme. But he has a solid handle and crossover, which allows him to get to where he needs at all times. Seems like he's in need of another year of development as well. I remember I scouted him last year, and I think I liked him better last year because he had great footwork and craftiness getting to the rim. Like I said, craftiness. Didn't look his size. He looks like a 6'5" guard out there that's playing a natural position, but he's 6'8". So that's gonna be a positive. But I think his game could translate to the NBA. It may take some time, but I love his game, his playmaking ability. He plays the passing lanes well. And I think I'm glad he stayed international this year because I had him a lot lower last year. I think this year he could be in the 30s. Some people are saying he could be sneaking up in the 20s. So we will see. But I think he could be a sleeper for some teams, and he is from Serbia. Just wanted to make sure of that before I said it. Next, I have Mantas Rupstavius. Right now, we are at number 8. Mantas Rupstavius. I have him ranked 41st. And he is from Lithuania. I scouted him last year as well. 6'6", 185 pounds, averaged almost 10 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal per game, 52% from the field, 43% from 3. And that was in 20 minutes per game. He is 21 years old. Mantas Rupstavius is a really good shooter, smooth shooting guard, good court vision, quick release, can stop on a dime and shoot the 3, great floater and touch on his shot, can get to the basket in the open court. And he's definitely worth a pick in the 40s. Like I said, 41, so anywhere from 30 to 50, he should be picked in this draft. Nice handle, nice crossover. I love how he's aggressive, always attacking the rim. Good shooter. He's a lefty. And he's a good shooter coming off screens as well, which is very necessary in the NBA. So Mantas Rupstavius, that's probably the first name you have not heard of. Well, him and Ariel Hukporti, but they are internationals with a lot of potential. International prospects. Next, number 9 on the list, Yannick Craig. I also ended scouting him last year. I was really high on him last year. Him a little bit lower this year. I was expecting to see a lot of improvement, but Yannick Craig is from Spain. Well, he played in Spain last year, and he's from the Netherlands, but he's a very natural player, very smooth game, can shoot it well. A bit of a slow release on his shot, but good shooting skill, runs the floor well, especially in transition. He's a good athlete, good cutter. And his style of play, his length, 6'8", 180 pounds. Like I said, teams love that 6'8", flexible forward. He was 180 last year. I don't know his exact weight this year. I'm assuming 190, 200. But it's hard to find stats sometimes on international players. Last year, he didn't average many points, but there was a lot of projecting going on, and he is 22 years old now. But I love his talent. I just need to see more. There's not that much film on him this year, but I think he could be a really good player. Like last year, Bilal Coulibaly was 8th in the draft, and I thought you could get a version of that in Yannick Craig in the 30s last year. So we'll see. He's a really good defender. His wingspan is nice. He just needs more playing time and experience because he did not play that much 2 years ago. And then this year as well, not that much film on him. But Yannick Craig, I'm a fan of. Keep an eye out on him. Next, number 10, Bobby Klintman. The 6'10" forward from Cairns, Australia. I don't think he's from Australia, though. I think he played with Australia this year. I think he's played with Sweden last year. It's hard to keep up, but he's a good shooter. Averaged 10 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal per game, and half block per game. I had him ranked in the 30s last year. This year, I have him ranked at 47th. Again, was expecting a lot of improvement from this player. Didn't really see it, but it could be the situation. I don't know. He's been in 3 different situations, and it's not really been great. Just been trying to read between the lines and check the tape because he played at Wake Forest, and it was not great at all. Then he went back internationally and played in Australia. And like I said, 10, 5, 1, and 1, I expected more. But the year before that, he was really good. So it's a lot of projecting, but with Bobby Klintman, he needs to just come on over to America and get in the G League and NBA system. He has the size and the potential and the upside. You know, he has good awareness on defense. He's mainly a catch and shoot guy right now, though. But he's in the vein of, Rui Hachimura. So we'll see if that's his ceiling or he can be more than that. But the flashes I saw with him scouting him last year, I need to see that now. And if he has that ability to bring that back, he can be a steal for someone. Like I said, I have him in the 40s. I was expecting to have him in the 20s, but I just couldn't do it from the film that I saw. But I'm still rooting for Bobby Klintman. He has that 7-foot wingspan, but the speed was lacking. I don't think he can guard other positions. Not very strong in the paint on offense or defense. And I just don't think he's ready for the NBA this year. I think G League, and then we will see after that. And that's why I have him in the 40s. That was 10. All right, we're going to do 5 more. It was going to be a top 10 list, but I really wanted to list these other 5 guys because you've heard of most of the guys in the top 10 because the NBA draft, the NBA period is becoming more of an international game. Normally, my international prospects list is full of guys you never heard of, and that's the fun in it. This year, you've heard of like 7 out of the 10. So let's go to 15. Number 11 on my list, Juan Nunez. I have him ranked 57th. He's 6'4", international point guard. He shot 33% from 3. Very crafty point guard. He was the FIBA MVP, not last year, but the year before. Very crafty point guard. Uses his body to create space and leverage. Has a nice floater. Good shooter. Very slow release on his shot. And if I didn't say 24 minutes per game, like I said, they all play small minutes. But it's very solid international point guard. But nothing special or crazy about him. He's a really good passer. Runs the team like a traditional point guard, which you want to see. But I'm not sure if he'll ever get real minutes in the NBA, even though he has the good size. And there's nothing wrong with his game. I just don't think he's special or elite at anything. He is solid though, and being a good passer is necessary. Someone to come in and keep things afloat. That's what he would be. He's not going to come in and start or ever probably or lead a team, but he can come in and keep things afloat. And like I said, FIBA MVP teams are gonna like that upside. So, but I did hear that he was declaring to stay overseas last year, but still was keeping his name in the draft. So I doubt he will even come to America this year. So we will see. But Juan Nunez, the Spanish point guard, at 19, he's 20 years old now, just turned 20. He's number 11 on the top international list, 57 overall in my rankings. Number 12, Rocco Procrastin. Rocco, he is an interesting player. I was really high on him about 3 years ago. I really wanted him to come out of the draft. He did not. I said, okay. He was one of the guys that kept his name in my mind. The next year, did not come out. The next year, did not come out. Now he's finally coming out into this draft at 21 years old. And that might be better for him mentally, physically. But there's hardly any tape on him. From what I remember 3 years ago, really, really promising big from Croatia, 6'9", 21 years old. But it's not really much to talk about right now. Good pick and roll player, good shooter, good rebounder, good shot blocker, good ball handler. He does everything good. He can create his own shot, pull up and hit the J. But like I said, not much film on him at all this year. So teams are going to have to get him in there and work him out. I don't know if he plans on staying overseas or not. But if you're looking at his tape from the previous 3 years, you're going to see someone that is definitely worth a draft pick. But Roko Prkasin from Croatia, number 12 on my list, mainly because of the history of the last 3 years. Next, number 13 on my list, Ulrich Chomchi, the raw center from Africa, the Cameroon. He's 6'11", 235 pounds, 18 years old, has a 7'4" wingspan, but points-wise, 3.5 points. Rebounds-wise, 4.5 rebounds. Steals, 1.5, which is great. Blocks, 2.5, which is great. But as you can see from the numbers, there's some rawness there, just without even hearing about his game. But with dealing with his game, he's a tremendous shot blocker with a huge wingspan. Those arms don't allow anything in the paint, but he is a super raw prospect, has only played 5 games that I was able to see, and he only averaged about 13 minutes per game. So there's a lot of projecting here, but he's mainly a blocker and a dunker, rim runner. Will need to be in the G League for a while, but he could turn into something in a few years. He moves his feet well, runs great, very agile, but he still has a lot to work on. At times, he can guard every player on the court. That is in a lower division team area. Like he may not be able to guard point guards in the NBA. He might have been able to do that internationally, but it's a little bit different in the NBA. But getting accustomed to styles, plays, formulas, coaching, playbooks, I don't think you will see him at all this season. He'll probably be in the G League the whole season. But then after that, you may see somebody that can turn into something. We will see. He's totally upside player. That's why I have him 70th on my rankings. I don't have him as a draftable player. If you don't know, there's typically 60 players drafted each year. The last few years, there's been 58 because teams have been penalized for tampering. So it's only 58 guys. He's 70th. I don't think he should be drafted. But if someone wants to take a wild swing on the upside center that they don't mind being in the G League all year, fine. But I don't think he's ready right now. That was Ulrich Chomchi. Number 14, Melvin Anjika. Melvin Ajinka. He's a 6'7" forward from France. There's France again. 9 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, half a steal per game, 30% from 3. Melvin is a lefty. He's kind of a wild, unorthodox player. Very long, very full of energy, shoots a lot of falling away bad shots, but he's always moving to get open and get the ball. He can shoot okay, but he needs a lot of refinement to his game. From what I see, he's definitely not an NBA player at this point, but he's one of the most unique basketball players I've ever seen. He kind of plays like he's playing at the park, just playing around however he wants to. Like he's not been coached to play official basketball, but he's always running off screens to get a shot, but he's not a good enough shooter for that to matter yet. Um, I mean, he's all over the place, but he can be a 3-and-D guy eventually. He just needs a lot of coaching. He should be able to be a good defender right away because his movements are very athletic and he has the energy and hard-working mentality to lock down on defense. But Melvin Ajinka or Ajinsa is undraftable right now for me. There's talk that he should be drafted by others, but I think he should be in the 60s or 70s, which would be not drafted. And last but not least on my list, Armel Traore from France, the 6'8" big man, well, 6'8" forward. And like I said, from France, again, 21 years old, average 11 points, 7 boards, 1.5 assists, 0.6 steals per game. Armel Traore is athletic as hell. He can do a lot of good things on the court, but he needs to polish his offensive game a lot. But he can play good defense, attacks the rim aggressively, which is good and bad. But he's a really good rebounder. He just doesn't seem ready for the NBA, though. G League, definitely. If he sticks, it will be because of his defense, and that's hard to judge considering the level of competition he played against. But I've seen a lot of people high on Armel Traore. Um, I just don't have him draftable. But, it's like every year there's Kentucky guards and players, and they say they get the Kentucky bump. Like, yeah, they should be 30th, but he played at Kentucky, draft him 20th. I think that's becoming a thing for players from France. And so he may be 70th, 65, but teams are going to be like, he's from France. Let's make him 55 or 50. But we will see. And a lot of times these international players do not come over here. Even though they're drafted, they stay international and do not come over here for a year or 2 or 3 or 4. There's a lot of guys that just don't even come, and some come when they're around 29, 30 years old. So hopefully there's not too many of those guys in this draft class. Like I said, I expect Juan Nunez to be one of them, or Nunez. Hopefully these other guys will come on over and play in the NBA. Now, I hope you like that list. Let me go over one more time so you can hear everybody all succinctly. Of my top 15 international prospects. Number 1, Alex Sarr. Number 2, Zachary Ricochet. Number 3, Nikolai Topic. Number 4, Tajane Salon. Number 5, Pacome Dadiet. Number 6, Ariel Hukporti. Number 7, Nikolai Jurisic. Number 8, Matas Robstavius. Number 9, Yannick Craig. Number 10, Bobby Klintman. Number 11, Juan Nunez. Number 12, Rocco Percassin. Number 13, Ulrich Chomchi. Number 14, Melvin Ajinsa. We'll get it. Number 15, Armel Traore. If you are listening internationally and I'm tearing these names up, please do not hate me for it. I'm doing the best I can. But I hope you understand it's no ill intent. This is how we read in America at times. But thank you all so much for listening one more time. Subscribe to the All Rookie Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this. If I left somebody off the list you think should be on, tell me who, tell me why. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't know someone that I named, I'm glad I introduced you to them. All right. One more week to the draft. Less than a week. Can't wait. Till next time, we're out of here. Peace.